What's going on, guys? This is another episode here in Nolan's Pod. Week one of the NFL started this past weekend and it kicked off last Thursday night. We had a game Friday night. All the rest of the games got going yesterday. Week one was a crazy week. Even before the game started, it was just a crazy week. We gonna dive deep into 4 games today, and we're gonna dive deep into 4 more games tomorrow. Um, One game I want to dive into is the very first game of the season, Baltimore at Chiefs. Um, the score of Baltimore Chiefs, 27-20. Chiefs obviously win. That game gave us everything that we could have imagined and everything that we could have wanted in the opening game, the big time game, first game of the season, was nothing short of nothing but not disappointing, I should say. Not disappointing. The stats on this game, winning side, Patrick Mahomes, 291 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was 20 of 28 in completions. The Chiefs had 21 first downs as a team. Isaiah Pacheco ran the ball 15 times for 45 yards, 1 touchdown. Xavier Worthy, the rookie out of Texas, had 1 carry for 25 yards. That was a 21-yard run touchdown for Xavier Worthy. He had 2 receptions and he caught a touchdown. So he had 2 touchdowns in his very first professional game as a rookie. So shout out to Xavier Worthy. Rashid Rice, 7 receptions for 103 yards. Noah Gray, 3 receptions for 37 yards. Travis Kelce, 3 receptions for 34 yards. Keep in mind, you have Mecole Hardman. That's on his team too. And then you have Hollywood Brown, who's hurt. He didn't even play. Xavier Worthy is supposed to be the next Tyreek Hill, and he showed it Thursday night. He played exceptionally well. You give credit to where the credit is due. The kid played well. Isaiah Pacheco ran the ball well. Rashid Rice did his thing, 7 receptions for 103 yards. Pat played well. You know he's always going to. The tight ends, Noah Gray, Travis Kelce only had 3 receptions. Those 2 tight ends only had 3 receptions. You know, they didn't even have to get the ball much because you had Rashid Rice getting involved in the game. And then you had Xavier Worthy getting involved in the game. And then you had Isaiah Pacheco running the ball. And that playbook for the Kansas City Chiefs gets deeper and deeper every single year. As I was telling my dad Thursday night, you can scout for these people and look at the film and you be like, these are the plays they're going to run. These are the plays that we're going to have to stop. But you get to the game and Andy Reid's running some kind of play that you have never seen before. You ain't even seen no film before. And when you think you prepared for it, Andy Reid pulls something out of the bag, something new out of the bag. You're like, what in the world? We never seen this play before. Where'd this come from? And they just continuously burn you. And it's just like watching Tom Brady with Patrick Mahomes. It's just like watching Tom Brady. You get so close, and you think you're going to get past him, and he just finds a way to burn you. But on the flip side of that, Baltimore, Lamar had a pretty good game. 273 yards, 1 touchdown, 26 for 41 completion, 122 rushing yards Lamar had. New acquisition Derrick Henry, 13 carries, 46 yards, 1 touchdown. He scored the first opening touchdown of the year, did Derrick Henry. Isaiah Likely, it seemed like he replaced Mark Andrews in this game. Isaiah Likely, 9 receptions, 111 yards, 1 touchdown. The other tight end, Mark Andrews, 2 receptions for 14 yards. Isaiah Likely seems like he's Lamar Jackson's new target. Give credit to the Kansas City Chiefs defense. They had a good game plan going against Mark Andrews, and that's why Isaiah Likely got a lot of those touches that he got. Justice Hill, 6 yards for 52, or excuse me, 6 receptions for Justice Hill, 6 receptions, 52 yards. Like I said, Lamar played well, and when you think you're going to get past Patrick Mahomes and you don't quite get there, it's because of something. Lamar had chance after chance. It was some of them that they just didn't capitalize on, like Baltimore just didn't capitalize on. They missed it. When you get your chance against Patrick Mahomes, you have to take full advantage of it. If you don't, he's going to burn you. He's going to find a way to burn you. And the chances that Lamar Jackson missed, I just wish he could have it back. Baltimore got 25 first downs. The passing yards, Kansas City had 281 passing yards to Baltimore's 267. Rushing yards, Baltimore had 155 to Kansas City's 72. Baltimore had 3 penalties in the first quarter on their offensive line for illegal formation. I'm concerned about Baltimore's offensive line just because of that. 3 illegal formation penalties in the first quarter. 7 penalties overall in this game. Penalties are always going to set you back. Flags are always going to set you back. You can't have that, especially when you're playing the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. You can't have 3 penalties on the offensive line of illegal formation. Offensive line, the referees are watching for that this year more than ever, so you cannot do that. That's one thing that set y'all back. You can't do that. You can't do that. One thing that I was disappointed about in Baltimore is they were being cautious with Derrick Henry. And I get he didn't play in the preseason. Let Derrick Henry fly. Let him fly. The other thing that I'm disappointed with is Lamar Jackson had 122 rushing yards. I love to see Lamar run. But he's constantly not going down. He's getting hit and tackled time after time after time as he ran in that game. Lamar, slide. Go down. We don't need you crying at the end of the season that you were hurt because you've taken all these hits while you're running. We don't need that. And I'm disappointed because you got Derrick Henry in the backfield. Use that to your advantage. You don't have to do that. Baltimore's playing the same way they played last year. Run the ball with Lamar. Run the ball with Lamar. When Baltimore is trailing, they're trying to pass. You can't play into the Kansas City Chiefs game plan by trying to pass. That's what y'all did in the championship game. Y'all got y'all game plan. Y'all tried to do the Chiefs did and pass. When y'all should have been running. Same thing in this game. Y'all get down a few points. Y'all want to pass. Y'all game plan is to run. That's why y'all got Derrick Henry. The other reason y'all got Derrick Henry is to limit Lamar Jackson's workload. So he don't have to be running around so much. He was still doing the same thing that he did last year. You can't have that. You just can't have it. It was a great game. I like what Baltimore did, but you have to limit Lamar's running. You can't have the penalties, and you have to capitalize on the chances that they give you because you had the chances, Lamar. You cannot say you didn't. You had the chances. If Isaiah Likely's foot stays in bounds, we might be having a whole different conversation. It was out of bounds. The game was over. But we'd be having a whole different conversation if Isaiah Likely's foot would have stayed in bounds. It would have been a 1-point game, and John Harbaugh immediately signaled 2. Like, we're going for 2. We're going for the win. Nonetheless, great game. Let's transition. Packers, Eagles. Another great game. Can't be disappointed in it. That was the Friday night game on Peacock. Score was 29-34. Eagles win. Jordan Love, 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 17 for 34 from a completion standpoint. Jordan Love, he had an okay game. Wasn't one of his best games. You know, he showed some good. He showed some bad. First game of the season. He's rusty. I get it. Cut him some slack. Josh Jacobs ran the ball 16 times for 84 yards. His debut with his new team. Emmanuel Wilson, 4 carries for 46 yards. Jordan Reed had 1 carry. That was a touchdown. He ran that for 33 yards. He had 4 receptions for 138 yards and another touchdown. So Jaden Reed had 2 touchdowns in the game, 1 running and 1 catching. Romeo Dobbs, 4 receptions for 50 yards. Christian Watson, 3 receptions for 13 yards. 251 passing yards for the Packers to the Eagles, 266. Rushing yards, 163 rushing yards for the Packers to the Eagles, 144. For the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, 278 yards for 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He had 13 carries for 33 yards. He was 20 of 34. Jalen Hurts, cut him some slack. He had a good game. He showed some good and some bad. Saquon Barkley, his Eagles debut, 24 carries for 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 2 receptions, 23 yards. He caught a touchdown, too. He caught one, too. Nice play. And he ran for 2 touchdowns. A.J. Brown doing A.J. Brown-like things, 5 receptions for 113 yards, 1 touchdown. Devontae Smith, 7 receptions for 84 yards. Dallas Goedert, 4 receptions for 34 yards. Dallas Goedert, 4 receptions for 31 yards. The Packers were 3 for 11 on 3rd down. The Eagles were 4 for 14 on 3rd down. One thing that I want to get into here in this game, good and bad, both by Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts. Jordan Love just showed some rust, that's all. With Jalen Hurts, Eagles still playing the same way from last year. Jalen Hurts, his 2 interceptions were just forced. One, he tried to force to A.J. Brown. He didn't have to do it, but he just did it anyway. That's just how they played last year. The other one was kind of just unfortunate. I think it was just a misread, and it was just unfortunate. And that gave Green Bay great field position. Saquon Barkley, he's the reason why Philadelphia won this game. If it wasn't for him, Philadelphia loses. Saquon caught a touchdown, as I mentioned to you guys, but he also ran the ball 24 times for 109 yards, and he scored 2 touchdowns off of running the ball. He's the reason why they won the game. The Eagles' passing attack does look better, but just like last year, sometimes Jalen Hurts likes to force it to A.J. Brown, and he does not have to do that when you have Devontae Smith, when you have Saquon Barkley, when you have Dallas Goedert, when you have Jahan Dotson. You don't have to force it to A.J. Brown. It's just going to come natural. That's it. The Eagles only gave up 29 points. Their defense was okay. It looked better. Still a lot of room for improvement. But under Vic Fangio, the first game, it looked better. Like I said, still room for improvement. The Packers, obviously they're going against a juggernaut in Philadelphia, so it's hard for the Packers defense to try to stop these guys when they're so gifted offensively, and both teams didn't even play their best game. That's the scary part. The Eagles won yesterday, or Friday night, the Eagles won. They didn't even play their best game. One thing that hurt Green Bay in this game, they had 10 penalties. As I mentioned with Baltimore, penalties are always going to hurt you. Same thing for Green Bay. Having 10 penalties is not going to get you a win at all. You have to cut down on your penalties. And you have to take advantage of Jalen Hurts' 2 interceptions. They didn't do that. But it was a great game. It was a close game. Jordan Love is probably going to be out multiple weeks because he strained his MCL. He dodged a bullet. It could have been a lot worse than that. And that playing field in Brazil, or wherever they were, was horrible. It was not up to date at all. Players were sliding and slipping all over the place, and that's probably one of the main reasons why Jordan Love is hurt right now. Transitioning to the Bengals and the Patriots. Upset alert. Bengals lose to the New England Patriots 16-10. Not a great game at all for Joe Burrow. Mind you, the Cincinnati Bengals always get off to slow starts. Always get off to slow starts. It happened yesterday. It's okay. They're going to get hot. T. Higgins did not play. Jamar Chase played. Jamar Chase did not get a new contract. He didn't really practice, so he was rusty. Joe Burrow played in preseason, but you can still tell that he was rusty too. Burrow was sacked 3 times. He passed for 164 yards. He had 4 carries for 15 yards. He was 21 of 29 in completion percentage. Zach Moss, 9 carries for 44 yards, 2 receptions for 17 yards. Jamar Chase, 6 receptions for 62 yards. Mike Gesicki, who we thought had a touchdown, it was overturned. He had 3 receptions for 18 yards. On third down, New England was 6 of 15 on third down. The Bengals were 4 for 11 on third down. The Bengals also fumbled twice. You had one that was going into the end zone. The guy had it, and they stripped it because he only held the ball with one hand. And you know you have to hold the ball with 2 hands. You have to hold the ball tight and cup the ball. You can't just have it out with one hand all loosey-goosey and expect nobody not to take the ball away from you. Easy touchdown erased off of a fumble. Got to take care of the ball if you're the Bengals. And you have to play better if you're the Bengals. But as I said, the issues that they had in training camp and preseason with the contracts of T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, that was a distraction. You play one of them, and he's rusty. You play Burrow in the preseason, and Burrow still looks like he was rusty. They just didn't play great. And ever since Burrow got drafted in 2020, and these openers or these early 2 or 3 games on the season, the Bengals have started off slow in the Joe Burrow era. You have to give credit to the New England Patriots. Nobody gave them a chance, and they came out and they won. Jacoby Brissett, 121 yards, 15 of 24 completion, 7 carries for 32 yards. Ramondre Stevenson had 25 carries for 120 yards, 1 touchdown. Antonio Gibson, 7 carries for 18 yards. Austin Hooper had 2 receptions for 31 yards. KJ Osborne, 3 receptions for 21 yards. Hunter Henry, 2 receptions for 18 yards. 120 passing yards for New England to the Bengals, 154 passing yards. 170 rushing yards for New England compared to the 70 rushing yards for the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals played Kansas City this week. I don't know what to expect. Kansas City looked great this week. The Bengals did not look great this week. But Joe Burrow always steps his game up when he plays Patrick Mahomes. The Cincinnati Bengals always play great when they play Patrick Mahomes, no matter where they're playing at. I expect this to be a game. I really do. I expect Cincinnati to be on point playing the Chiefs. But how the Chiefs played this week, I can't put it past them that they won't win this game this week against the Cincinnati Bengals based off how the Bengals played week 1. Transitioning. Last game I'm going to give you. Pittsburgh Steelers, Atlanta Falcons. Pittsburgh comes out with the win 18-10. The Falcons struggled offensively. Defensively, the Falcons played great defensively. It was just offensively. The Falcons were out of sync offensively. You can tell they were out of sync. It was no question about it. They were out of sync. And they just didn't have a great game plan offensively. Kirk Cousins, 155 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 6 from 26 on completion. The 2 interceptions that Kirk Cousins threw were forced. It was forced, and he panicked. The 2 interceptions that Kirk Cousins had, he didn't have to throw it. You don't have to throw it. He panicked, and he threw it. 2 interceptions, just like that. Kirk, you don't have to panic. Let the game come to you. But this is the Kirk Cousins that we all know. He's going to throw interceptions. We're going to get the good and the bad. He's going to panic in certain situations as he did yesterday. but we didn't run any play action type plays for Kirk Cousins, which that's what he's successful in, play action. We have to run plays that Kirk Cousins string. We have to run plays that Kirk Cousins string, not Kirk Cousins' weakness where he's going to panic, he's going to throw the ball away and throw it into the interception. It was times yesterday where he did actually throw the ball away to be on the safe side, but it was those 2 times where he panicked and he threw 2 interceptions. Bijan Robinson, 18 carries for 68 yards, 5 receptions for 43 yards. Tyler Algier, 3 carries for 21 yards. Kyle Pitts, 3 receptions for 26 yards. He caught a touchdown in the end zone. Drake London, 2 receptions for 15 yards. Darnell Mooney, 1 reception for 15 yards. So it's room for improvement a lot offensively. Justin Fields, Pittsburgh side, he got to start because Russell Wilson's calf is hurt. 156 yards for Justin Fields, 17 of 23 in completion, 14 carries for Justin Fields for 57 yards. Najee Harris, 20 carries for 70 yards. Cordell Patterson made his return to Atlanta. He had 4 receptions, that might have been 4 carries for 13 yards. Pat Freiermuth, 4 receptions for 27 yards. George Pickens had a great game, 6 receptions for 85 yards. Both teams took 2 sacks each. Sacks are always a problem for Justin Fields. He only got sacked twice, so that's good for him. Justin Fields had a good game, but let's not get it twisted. Even though he had a good game, the Pittsburgh Steelers never scored a touchdown. Let's keep that a buck. The Pittsburgh Steelers never scored a touchdown, even though Justin Fields had a great game. And everybody is riding, oh, Justin Fields had such a great game. He did have a good game. But they never went down and scored. Chris Boswell kicked 6 field goals. 6 field goals. That's how they ended up with 18 points off of Chris Boswell's 6 field goals that he made yesterday. They didn't score a touchdown. So can we stop with the Justin Fields he had a great game, he was spectacular. Y'all never scored. Y'all never scored yesterday in the end zone. If Pittsburgh had lost this game, the first thing that everybody would be talking about is, they need a quarterback, they need this, they need that. But because the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, as we know, they always have a great defense every single year. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense and Chris Boswell picked y'all up. It's, Justin Fields had a great game and he led them offensively. He didn't lead them to anything. They scored 6 field goals. Could we please calm down? If they had lost, we know that y'all would be crying about, they need a new quarterback. Nobody led them down the field. Quarterback play was inconsistent, all this. So can we please stop it? Please. Please stop it. That's the 4 games I want to give you guys today. That's all I have for you guys today. Tomorrow, I will give you another 4 games from week 1 that I thought were great. Till then, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought about these 4 games that I gave you, and we will tack on another 4 games tomorrow. We out of here.